Hi Taurus, and welcome to your October 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the month of October. Let's dive right into this. I will be providing some intuitive messages, a week-to-week tarot forecast, and an extended reading on Patreon, which will be linked below. Okay, Taurus, intuitively for October. I'm already feeling that you are kind of recharging yourself to prepare for something that's coming in November. There's a feeling of recharging. There's a feeling of facing something that you had to catch up on. And there's also a feeling of a huge transformation coming on as well. I'm intuitively being guided to direct you more towards the psychological aspect of the bigger picture that you're experiencing right now, rather than certain material, more skin level, surface level stuff. So I feel that Taurus in the month of October is going to have to really focus on the deeper psychology of their experience and the deeper theme, as opposed to still connecting to the material, surface level stuff. Again, North Node is in your sign, South Node is in your opposite sign of Scorpio. I feel that ever since that went in last February, that we've really been focused on the North Node side, which was the material, surface level Taurus stuff. And now as we have an eclipse on October 25th and into Scorpio season, we will really shift into the South Node and Scorpio side. So stuff is going to really take more of a psychological lens. There's going to be a different perspective. Everything in our experience might just be seen in a different way. And there are going to be sources of abundance, sources of strength, sources of well-being for you in areas that you never thought could give that. Okay, so I'm seeing a big switch up coming for you guys in October and also moving into November. So it's very possible that as you're transitioning through this ending 2022 time, that what used to never give you something is now your main thing, and what used to be your main source of abundance, well-being, or satisfaction is now reducing. So it's kind of like the wheel turning, right? It's the changes of life, the transformations that happen. And I really encourage you all to look at things that you used to not look to for well-being, okay? Things that you used to not think would be there for you, things that you used to not think you were capable of, areas, industries, spheres, sectors that you didn't think you could be in, I feel are now opening for you. And in order for that opening to be happening, it means that something that you're really accustomed to is closing off. So there is, I think, something a little bit hard for some of you all in October. What it is a really beautiful thing. It's like new doors opening. It's new things opening up to you. But if you're really focused on maintaining the status quo, or if you're really focused on proving to yourself that you can stay and kind of extract well-being from something that's really not super fruitful, that's going to be hard, okay? So the main thing about October is the willingness to accept that there's a new territory or a new opening for you, and to be willing to understand the lack of control that warrants, okay? So it's kind of like, okay, I can stay in this same place for as long as I want, trying to make it be a certain thing and try to control it, or I can kind of like withdraw that control and just move into something easier. And I feel many Taurus on both sides of that. And I'm definitely being called intuitively to tell you guys that these new open doors, these newer territories are seeming more giving, okay? So whatever that means for any of you out there. Finally, before I get into the week-to-week, I want to tell you about the feeling of betrayal or the feeling of subordination. Okay, so that's a big possibility. I'm going to be talking about this in November. There is a major power crisis for a lot of people coming in with this nodal axis, with Scorpio season coming on, with the Libra season being in. People are perhaps feeling threatened by a form of disempowerment. People are trying to remind their own egos of how they are or who they are, and that can lead to collateral damage. So anybody can fall on any side of that, but you want to really watch out for people trying to like come in and take control of what you're doing, in the workplace or in your personal life. Like if you have someone who's like domineering in your life, who's like trying to like puppet you or is trying to like control something that is your territory, this is something that everybody could be going through, but I'm especially being called to talk about it for you with the Ten of Swords reversed coming in, the High Priestess, the Eight of Cups. There's a feeling of subordination that you need to transcend here. So that could be like asserting your own boundaries or showing people who you are now, okay? I find a lot of times that struggles with betrayal, struggles with subordination, or power conflicts oftentimes come as a result of like lack of clarity on who the parties are or like what they stand for or how they've changed. Oftentimes when somebody goes through a personal change and it's not maybe registered by someone else in their experience, it can create a weird power conflict because the change has happened, but it maybe hasn't become apparent. So this kind of does a quantum distortion. It's kind of hard to explain, but this could be happening, Taurus. And you just need to, I think, really be prepared to represent who you are. Like, I'm now this person. I now stand for these values. Because that does seem to maybe have changed for you all very recently as well. And further, I think that maybe the next year, or as you're even hitting the calendar new year of 2023, maybe there's an entirely new journey about like developing this new identity or understanding personally who you are so that you don't maybe find yourself in the proximity of these power conflicts, okay? Major South Node and Scorpio stuff starting to come up, especially for those of you who are Taurus Sun, like 5 to 15 degrees. The South Node, especially around that 8 to 10 degree point, is going to really start to put a kind of psychological, hierarchical, identity-focused, wisdom-focused as well, perspective into your experience, and that's perhaps going to need a lot of attention, okay, just as a heads up. But let's talk about your week-to-week in October. In the first week, you have the Seven of Pentacles rooted down by the Ten of Swords reversed. So there's a period of reflection that comes in the first week of October, where you might have to reevaluate what you are presiding over, okay? For a lot of people, there are catalyst experiences happening in October that shift the paradigm a lot for them, where it's like, okay, I don't have the energy to preside over this or to oversee a certain project or oversee something relating to other people. Also, people might have like a jealousy or envy as well with that combination. Like people could be jealous about what you are overseeing or what you're cultivating as well. The Seven of Pentacles is about cultivation. It's about multitasking. It's about growing multiple things at once. And the Ten of Swords reversed is about kind of a feeling of resentment or betrayal even that is avoided, though. I like Ten of Swords reversed more than the upright. It says that it's like not as surprising, or the sense of difficulty that comes with that is less of a surprise and less difficult to work with. In the second week of October, you have the Eight of Cups rooted down by the King of Swords reversed. So you are moving away from something. The Ten of Swords is also the end of something, or the final aspect of a certain series of events. So you're also maybe walking away from a culmination or choosing a new path or entering a new path without the need to pursue the previous culmination. King of Swords reversed says that you don't need to overthink what you're walking away from. It's very easy during Libra season to find positives or negatives for any choice. So it's important to really be working based on intuition and to really be taking the gut feelings you've been having for a while seriously, rather than having to ruminate so much on all of the choices. In the third week, Taurus, you have the Two of Cups rooted down by the Queen of Cups. Okay, so third week of October, you hit Scorpio season, and this is what I'm excited to talk to you about, because you are really starting a major transformative quest here. I think that you'll really feel it once you hit the third week, and this South Node in Scorpio and oncoming eclipse season on your axis is going to really change your emotional status. Okay, so like a Two of Cups is about the way you come together with people. This could be like a new relationship that starts up here, or a new relationship with yourself. Rooted down by the Queen of Cups, it says that your like emotional needs are changing, or the way that you factor in your emotions into relationships or into decisions is changing as well. So there's a new love language perhaps coming in, and also a new baseline for you about emotional energy. So how much energy you have to connect with other people, and how much energy you also need to start seeking new opportunities, seeking new relationships, seeking new connections is also going to change. Some of you might have a big kind of mental or psychological shift regarding your baselines, regarding how much you need, whether this is in a material or in an energetic sense, like how much you need to save, how much you need to feel comfortable, okay? What baseline provides you a sense of comfort becomes a different thing in the third week of October, and I think it becomes a lot healthier and a lot more positive. So you have maybe a new acceptance about what you have, or the discovery of what you've needed becoming more plausible to you. Okay, so previously you might have placed what you've needed out of reach, so you create or reinforce this constant feeling of not having a baseline or not feeling secure. So you might start to feel more secure in the third week of October just through reassessing and redoing some of your emotional baselines. Week number 4, you have the Two of Wands rooted down by the High Priestess. Okay, so you are really expanding your spiritual horizons here. Some of you might be kind of like the third week. This is a different baseline spiritually. So the third week is a different emotional baseline, and this starts to translate to your entire spiritual experience in the fourth week. So these new parameters that you're setting, or these new levels, I really like this, Taurus. I like this this level up that you're having, and maybe this elevation of baseline that leads to you expanding your horizons in an emotional and spiritual way. So you might not be willing to accept some of the stuff that has comprised a lot of your life experience by the end of October. So things that might have worked, but were perhaps not the most valuable, or perhaps were not the best expression of your life force energy, changes. Okay, or makes itself clear that it will in time change. So to me, this definitely looks like jobs that have gone out of favor. This looks like relationships that are no longer favorable, even family relationships, even relationships that you thought were never going to change. I mean, the wheel really turns here as we have this eclipse on October 25th in your opposite sign of Scorpio. It's a big change for Taurus, okay? It's a huge change, and it's going to probably, I mean, depending on what house it's happening in your own chart, I think it's going to really change up your internal environment in a way that has you questioning previous baselines, has you questioning previous acceptances. So I will accept this for that result. I will do this to meet that baseline. Maybe you're not willing to do certain things to meet certain baselines anymore. So not willing to work certain menial jobs to meet a certain financial baseline is a very obvious kind of interpretation of that. But it could be more paradigmatic as well, like not willing to contribute to certain projects or contribute to certain cycles that create a larger macrocosm of like halfway lukewarm feelings after a long period of time. So this basically is kind of where people are backing out or withdrawing from things that they no longer feel adequately suit them or their life force energy. And instead, they create these new baselines and these new standards for themselves. So that's what I'm feeling mainly for you in October, Taurus. Let's talk more about that in your extended reading. Let's talk about identifying these new baselines. Let's talk also about compromising or understanding how these withdrawals and then subsequent investments of energy are going to be, like how they're going to present themselves and what you can expect along that way. I will get a central theme and 2 supporting themes for you all, and that will be linked below. Have a great month. Bye.